Oh, yeah, you already know what time it is. You already know what's going on. I'm your host, Cam Silver,
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver.
and welcome back to another episode of the Silver Boys Podcast.
What a
Man,
week, man. What a week. What a
bro,
week.
last weekend was insane. A bunch of close games leading into this weekend with the regional semis and the regional finals.
Yep.
So very, very happy with what I've been seeing in the big dance tournament. Um, obviously things going on in the NBA, things going on little by little in the NFL right now. Obviously
hmm
things are heating up, especially with um Mr. Dan Orlowski and his whole Ty Simpson take and how people feel about that.
Yeah.
Also shout outs to, happy opening week for MLB. We're officially back in action. So that means the weather is definitely getting warmer outside. So that's it's always a fun time around this time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Summer ball is happening. Baseball is in full effect. Let's go Yankees, as always. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, there you go. Just going over some stuff in the NFL. So the Eagles trade safety Sidney Brown uh to the Falcons in exchange for a fourth round pick and a sixth round pick for both sides. Jaxon Smith-Njigba gets an extension, 4 years, 168.6 million contract extension, which will make him the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. 120 of that will be guaranteed, and he will make just over 42 million per year.
Well deserved. I mean, he was a catalyst of the Seahawks getting into the championship and winning. And obviously every new wide receiver that gets a new contract is gonna reset the market, gonna be the highest paid player just until somebody else comes, until the next person comes.
Exactly. But well deserved for him. He was definitely wide receiver number one basically all year, and he
Yeah.
showed that throughout not just the regular season but also in the playoffs as well. Joe Flacco signs a 1 year, $6 million deal with the Bengals. That will be worth up to 9 million. The NFL and the referees take a break because they were in labor talks. Excuse me. So just watch out for that. Their CBA expires in May 31st. So if nothing is done, then they will be looking for replacement referees.
Oh wow. I wonder what goes all into that and what the referees might be asking for.
Yeah. That's a good question. I'd seen a list, but I just didn't get a chance to read through it and see what
Mhm.
they were asking or what the NFL was trying to get going. But yeah, no, it's obviously that's a big deal that I don't think that people pay attention to as much
Definitely,
because of
because this is the first time, like, I think I'm hearing about them halting talks, essentially.
yeah. I know it happened before, but when I was like younger, there were replacement referees, and you could definitely tell.
Okay,
I'll just
okay.
I'll put it to you like that. You could definitely tell that the original guys were not out there. It was the same thing in the NBA. It happened in the NBA as well,
Uh-huh.
where they had to put in replacement referees because the referee union, the original guys couldn't come to an agreement with the NBA on whatever it is, whether that's pay, certain things that goes on the court that they would like to have and whatnot. So yeah, that's something I would say we're definitely going to keep a lookout on.
Most definitely, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to.
Um, True. I guess we'll start here with so obviously the big debate right now, like I said earlier, to lead us off with this whole thing was Fernando Mendoza
Mm-hmm.
and Ty Simpson.
Uh-huh.
Who should be who should be QB1?
Fernando Mendoza, without a
That's
shadow of a doubt.
that's what that's what the exact same thing that I said. Obviously, um, if you guys watched our stuff during college football season,
Mhm.
for most, or at least half to most of the season, I was saying Ty Simpson was the best quarterback, period, hands down, because he was playing like the best quarterback.
Yeah.
He is a better. I feel like he's a better thrower of the ball and things of that nature. But the problem is he did fall off at the end. He did get sick. I know he was injured as well. Also know that the O line was injured. Know that Alabama's run game for like the first time I think I'd ever seen in my lifetime did not have a run game. and the wide receivers were dropping balls like Ryan Williams, who was supposed to be, the phenom and supposed to be the next biggest thing. He led that category in drops. So there were a lot of things that went against Simpson, but also for me, Mendoza had the better moments. And that's what we think
Absolutely.
about. And that's what we think about when it comes to these guys, when it comes to stars. Like, think about all the stars that you could think of right now in any sport. The reason why we love them, the reason why we get their jerseys and we get their gear and stuff like that, because of the moments that they had. Mendoza had the best moments. That last run against in the Big Ten championship against Ohio State, all the way up to the national championship, he answered the call every single time. I will just read off some stats from Pro Football Focus. So against ranked teams, he was 6-0. He had a 90.4 Pro Football Focus grade.
Hmm.
He was 73% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 130.7 passer rating.
Talk about taking care of the football at every level as well too, in every big in all the big games, in the big moments. He was still continuing to make those throws that he we know he was capable of doing. And like you said, it came down to moments. I think Alabama and Ty Simpson was much more inconsistent over the course of the year, in comparison to Fernando. I mean, we just got to take the stats into consideration. He won Heisman for a reason. That team went undefeated for a reason, like because of him and the great coaching that he had around him as well too, and the players. Um that's a completely different story when we get into the NFL, though, because you got to surround him with the right team. You got to have a good old line. Do I have faith in that young kid though? I do. I really do. He showed me some things, and he showed me that he won't quit whatsoever. You know, and that he can carry a team on his back. And I think Ty Simpson kind of has a little bit more of a ways to go in terms of putting a team on his back and going to do what's necessary.
Yeah, yeah. I like I said earlier, I had Ty Simpson as the number one quarterback throughout most of the season, but when it came down to it, in those, the last 6 weeks, it all became about Mendoza because he was answering the call every single time.
Yeah,
And then not to also mention, obviously, their head-to-head matchup where Mendoza and Indiana literally just rolled over the Crimson Tide. So
rolled over, steamrolled them, like whatever you want to call it. They did it. They did it.
yeah, yeah. So
They did
so
it.
so for me personally, Mendoza should indeed be QB1. Ty Simpson, he is QB2, and he's not. And I'm not gonna say that there's a big gap. I don't feel like there is a big gap. If I'm being honest with you, I think the biggest gap, in my opinion, is the fact that Mendoza has at least over 30 starts, and Ty Simpson only has the 15 from this one year.
So experience definitely plays much more of a factor. Um, I don't know. I don't get how you can just look at you can these two teams went up against each other. These two quarterbacks went up against each other, and one looks significantly better than the other. Plain and
Yeah,
simple. Period. End of story.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And you could chalk it up, like I said, you could chalk it up to a lot of things. The fact that Alabama didn't have a run game or nothing like that. But, at the end of the day, when, head to heads matter, obviously, right? So
Yeah.
it's that. And also the fact that Mendoza is bigger too. Mendoza's like 6'4", 6'5". Ty Simpson's only like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah. That'll carry over.
Yeah, exactly. And then plus Mendoza, like I said, one of the biggest moments was when in that national championship game going against Miami. They needed to, they wanted to basically put all the pressure on Miami. What did Mendoza do? He dropped back and then he scrambled and ran for a touchdown, and a tough touchdown too. It wasn't like
Yeah.
he got hit by a lot of guys on that Miami team, and he still got into the end zone and basically sealed the deal for Indiana to win their first championship in almost 100 years or whatever the heck. So
Basically, he brought a championship. He brought a championship there, man. I can't take that away from him.
exactly, exactly. So I love the hoopla though. I love the hoopla. I love seeing some type of debate and stuff like that. And I understand where Dan and others may be coming from about Ty Simpson maybe being number one, maybe being at least QB1 in days of nature. And even some teams, from what I heard, have him as QB1, and rightfully
Uh huh.
so. He's not. Ty Simpson's not that bad. But he just is not as good as Mendoza, and he doesn't have the experience like Mendoza has.
There's levels to it, for real.
Exactly. But who are we to say? Because we don't know until we actually get into it, into the nitty
Yeah,
gritty of who's gonna be better. But yeah,
I agree.
I knew you said you wanted to talk about something earlier, so I'm gonna let you have the floor and do your thing.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask you and get your thoughts on, the $542 million that the NFL had actually given out in performance based play over the course of the 20 at the end of the 2025 season. I just looked at that number and I thought that that was a large number. Well deserved though, but I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Honestly, do you think there's too much incentives? Do you think there's not enough incentives? You think it's just right in terms of contracts and stuff like that? What's your thoughts on it?
I feel like it's always been just right. I think it
Okay.
also depends on the player. It also depends
Uh-huh.
on the team. So like, Sam Darnold got an extra million this year because they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair in my
That's
opinion. It's
great
not like
incentive. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like they were giving him an extra 50 million to do it. Then
Mm,
that's a little like out of pocket. Same thing for Saquon Barkley. I think it was what last year or whatever. They put in like they said if they won the Super Bowl, they put an extra mil in his contract as well.
uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, no, I'm a fan of the incentives. It does obviously give players something a little more, gives the teams a little more, also gives the fans a little more because they want to see these players
Yeah.
going ahead out there and they want to see them, put in work. So I'm a fan
Uh-huh.
of it. I like it.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Just a nice little quick bit I just wanted to throw in there. That was it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Going into because I like how because I know you said you wanted to roll this over into the whole Cade Cunningham thing
Okay,
with the
Cunningham
65.
65 game rule, his agent wants an exemption, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I was thinking, what if NBA contracts have more incentive based stuff inside of it? Will that get these guys to play more and not want an exemption, a 65 game exemption? We already know in order to win MVP and what all NBA first team, you got to do 65 games, you got to play 65 games. Um, so I'm a fan of that. I just don't like how I don't want players trying to bend the rules or just anything like that when it comes to it too.
Yeah, no, I think it's more so his agent
Uh
is
huh.
trying to bend the rules with it. And I as soon as I seen the agent put that note out there that he would like for him to be an exception, I immediately thought I'm like, oh, there's something in that contract that possibly says that Cade is supposed to get an extra yada yada yada
Uh huh.
if he does win MVP or if he does get on the All NBA, whatever. Because that's what
Okay.
most of them have, especially all the stars like the Lukas and Nikola Jokic's and Jalen
Yeah.
Browns, Jason Tatum's. They all have that in there. So like if they make the All NBA team, they probably get an extra like 5 million or something crazy like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's normal. That is normal, and it's not to Cade's fault on him getting injured like this. A collapsed lung is that's tough to deal with.
It is.
That just happens. And so I just feel like it's more so the agent trying to push it, and which is I don't like it because we as fans we were so adamant on getting something like this a 65 game rule for an award or for for you to have I guess a complete season or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. So the fact that the agent is trying to sit here and be like, no, he should get an exception because he's been playing so well and this, that, and the third. It's like, bro, like, yes, he's been playing so well, and we all love Cade, but it's like, dude, at the end of the day, the rules are the rules. We can't just bend them just because Cade had a freak accident.
No, we can't bend them. You have to adhere to the rules and stick with them no matter what because they're in place for a reason. So yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, it's rough. It's rough to to see right now because Cade was having one of the
Um,
best years right there. And
yeah,
just a couple weeks ago, we were literally sitting here figuring out if it was going to be Cade or Jalen Brown who was going to be MVP. So,
yeah.
so yeah, no, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I understand where the agent's coming from because guess what? You as an agent, you get a percentage of that. So, so he's
And
fighting
so
for
you
his
got to
pay as
push
well.
to get as much money as possible, dog. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's fighting for his pay as well. So I don't blame him. As soon as I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, I already know what this is about. So, but moving on to other news that's going on in the NBA. So, uh, this past week, the NBA held a vote for the Board of Governors meeting to possibly expand teams exclusively to Vegas and Seattle, and they got the votes that they needed. So that is definitely starting to happen. From what I'm seeing, is that the bids are supposed to be in a range of 7 to 10 billion for each team. So
Wow.
yeah, the crazy, right? Final votes have all been in, and yes, it's officially happening. From what Sham says, that higher ranking officials have determined the expansion is it's not about when, but it's not about if, but when this will happen,
Which
basically.
makes
So
sense.
yeah,
We
so
we knew that this was coming, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The bids will be filing in over the next few months, and then it just becomes whether if they want to execute the purchases now or sometime later in the future. But from what I'm hearing, I believe 2028, 2029 is possibly when we could start seeing, either Vegas or Seattle up and running.
Okay, I'm iffy about the team in Vegas, but the WNBA has a team in Vegas, you know. Um so and with sports betting, things of that nature, what happens if they get Chauncey Billups as a coach? You or a Chauncey Billups type of person, So it's crazy. Seattle's about to get a new team though. Call them the Supersonics again for real, for real.
I think they might do that if I'm not mistaken. They might just call it
Really.
the Supersonics. Yeah, I think they're able to do something where they could take back their stuff from the Thunder. Then the Thunder will be its own like team or
Its
whatever the
own
heck.
thing again.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, which will be pretty dope actually, in my opinion. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to see that. Um, some other news, I guess we can go to
Uh-huh.
the uh college college basketball. So obviously last week we talked about if Hubert Davis should be fired or not, and
It
UNC made
happened.
the Yep, UNC made the decision. They did indeed fire Hubert Davis as the UNC coach after 5 seasons. Like I said last week, in the first season, he made it to the national championship and a loss. But then the next season, they didn't make it to the tournament at all. And then after that, it's been basically early exits. I think they're after that their latest exit, or when they exited the big dance, the latest was the Sweet 16. Other than that, it's been first round for the most part.
Which is terrible for a team like North Carolina because we expect so much from them, you know. Hubert
Yeah.
Davis is a great coach at the end of the day, but he can never get over that hump. And so that team, that organization, that whole school, they need somebody new to come in there and change the culture, change the ways, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see them moving off of they won't I don't think that they will move off of what's it called?
Their AD.
Yeah, going outside the family
Okay.
for the most part. I know that yeah, I'm not gonna say I know for a fact, but almost like 90% sure that they won't do that
They
because
keep it
of
in house.
yeah, yeah, they keep it in house. Like look at the assistant coaches. All of the assistant coaches played for UNC.
Yeah.
When it goes down to like the staff that you don't see, like the weight trainers and things of that nature, everybody's from UNC.
Yeah.
So whoever that they do go and get has to understand what the bar is, what the culture is, and how to get it back on track after
And how
Roy
to
Williams.
elevate it as well, you know.
Exactly, exactly, because they're not, sad to say, I guess within like what the last 5 years, they're not blue blood status like they used to be. We could
Not at
say the
all.
same. We could say the same thing about Kentucky. We could say the same thing about a few of these teams, a few of these programs, I would say that just have not been able to live up to it. But that's what happens over years. Empires fall, other ones get created, especially now with the NIL. There
Exactly. NIL
probably,
is the biggest culprit of that.
yeah, there probably won't be another big time empire like that unless you get like a ultimate recruiter that just understands how to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like who knows? It might be another 20 years before we see another repeat, like UConn.
I mean, that'll be I love the uniqueness of it. Every team pretty much has a chance, but you can definitely tell as well too, real quick that a lot of these this ain't no Cinderellas this year for real.
Mm-mm.
You don't not no high seas that's making it into the sweet six, the semis or anything like that. Um, it's a lot of these teams are at the top for a reason.
Yeah, for a fact. For a fact, they have the most money,
Yeah.
and it would be hard as heck to put in a salary cap for what, over 130 teams.
Yeah, that's
Like that's almost impossible. Like,
it pretty much is.
and then I remember, during the football season they were talking about getting a commissioner and things of that nature. Was like, how do you equally represent over 130 teams? How is that even possible?
I don't think it is, to be honest with you.
It's not. It's not. It sucks to say.
It is what it is, though. We wanted these kids to get paid, and whatever school got the most money to get the best kids. It's what it comes down to.
Yeah. It's crazy
You
because
got it.
like you have,
If you want to pull, you got to take some tug with it too.
yeah. It's crazy because I just seen John Calipari talking about this, where he was like, if my kids go into the transfer portal, they know that they can't come back. Because when they go into the transfer portal, it's basically almost like you go into the transfer portal and you're like trying to get more money out of where you already are. That's basically extortion to an extent,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
and I understand exactly why John Calipari said what he said. Like, as soon as you put your name in that portal, bro, you gotta go, because you can't, you know what I mean? You can't take advantage of that type of stuff.
You can't.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. But yeah, no, Final Four is next weekend. Holy crap!
Can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait.
These games, man, they've been something, man. They've been something. My surprise exit as of right now, and I guess for this weekend alone, probably Houston so far.
Houston, definitely. I wasn't expecting them to lose.
Not in that fashion either.
Not by 10. Not by 10.
They got dominated like the whole game.
But Illinois been looking good all you know, all tournament.
Yeah, all tournament, man, basically all season for the most part, from what I've
Yeah.
been able to see. Um, man, St. John's, the game
St.
winner, Dylan
John's.
Darling.
Let's
That was
go.
that was crazy, man. The game winner against Dylan Darling. Oh my goodness, I knew that game was gonna be I knew that game was gonna be a good game. Obviously,
Uh-huh.
Patino, Bill Self. You knew it was gonna be a
It's
great game,
Kansas, dude. It's Kansas, man.
bro, bro. But the way that they just did it, though.
They representing right now, man.
And think about it. Dylan Darling was 0 for 4 before that game winning layup.
You stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. Stay
And
ready.
Patino
Gotta
even
stay.
and Patino and Patino even said that he called his own number.
Wow.
And Patino, he went over to Coach Patino. He told him to play that he wanted to run. He was like,
Uh-huh.
"What? You haven't made a shot all game." But he calls him Bells because he has,
Bells.
yeah, because he has what's it called? Because he I don't even know how to say it without it being bad, but it's because he has, steel. He got big balls
Oh,
for that.
got you. Bells, I got you. Yo, I love the confidence though to be 0 for 4 and then to have the confidence to call your own play and go hit that game winning layup says everything I need to know about that team where their head is for real.
Because I was thinking, because when they were coming down in Kansas was crazy enough. to actually foul all the way up until they got into the bonus,
Yeah.
and then they kept letting time go down, time go down. So then by the time you only have 4 seconds, all what's it called? All Dylan Darling had to do was go down a straight line and lay the ball up, and that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
So
I love it,
they
man. St. John's. I love it.
man, if they that be that man, I don't know, man. It's just it's crazy to see because we haven't seen St. John's down this way in a,
Definitely
in a
not.
while. In a while,
Yeah.
I don't even think we were live the last time.
I don't think so. I definitely never seen St. John's get this far. So
Mm-mm,
this is new
mm-mm.
territory for me.
Most of the memories that I have for them are basically in the first round, first second rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is our episode for this week. I hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, like I said, just keep on watching these basketball games, man. We're coming up on the end of college basketball season. Ugh. Going into NBA. The NBA playoffs are starting up real soon, so
Yeah.
definitely we'll
Yeah.
be talking about that.
Yep.
So yeah, and then like I said, keep it locked in for football, most definitely with literally next month. We're almost exactly a month away from the NFL draft.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, definitely a lot more things to cover. Gonna keep it coming at you.
Yeah, yeah. But till then, I'm your host Cam Silver,
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver.
and this is the Silver Boys.